What is up, super coaches? Or perhaps today, should I say future super coaches? My name is Supercoach Sister, aka Ebony, and I'm here to provide the ultimate beginner's guide to NRL SuperCoach. So, if this is your very first time actually playing the game, you've come to the right place. And today's episode is very specifically for you because we're going through the very first steps, the absolute basics in getting started. Why don't you join me in the ultimate beginner's guide to NRL SuperCoach? Let's go. All right, well, welcome. Here we are at the SuperCoach homepage. Now, you're probably aware that SuperCoach provides a variety of sports that we can dig into, but of course, this is all about NRL SuperCoach. So, as we click on through, again, if you are brand new, then you're going to need to go ahead and pre-register, and this is in readiness for the official 2026 launch later in January. But for those of you who have at least perhaps set up an account, then you're going to go ahead and log in. I will note that if you are brand new to SuperCoach and if you haven't yet accessed what is known as SuperCoach Plus, which I guess is the paid version of engaging with NRL SuperCoach, just $29.95 for the whole year. And this leads you to a whole stack of additional stats and tools when you are playing SuperCoach. But what it also means at the moment is that you're able to engage with the 2026 team picker. So you're able to get a bit of a jump start on having a look at players available in what positions and for how much. So you'll note here, this is still the end of 2025. So in order to actually take a look at what's involved, I'm going to go ahead and still click on the old classic version. That's the first thing to note. NRL SuperCoach has two major formats. So you have classic and you have draft. I admit I've actually not jumped into draft before. So if you're looking for help on that, this is not the place to come. But I have been playing classic and absolutely love it. So let's take a quick look at the setup for classic. What you will notice very quickly is this is what your team will look like. You actually end up selecting 26 players, and every single week, 17 scores count. The first scores that count are those you've placed in your starting team, perhaps, and the 4 reserves that you have nominated from your bench. Now we'll get into all of the technicalities of what we call sit versus start. So who do you sit on the bench? Who do you start in your point scoring lineup? But for now, just understanding the layout and the format of the team you do select, this is what you're going to be looking at. Now you have the opportunity to go ahead and look through all players available. You can search for these players, whether that's by the position that they play, whether it's by the team that they play for, and you can also select players perhaps that you're able to afford by changing the price tag along here. And of course, you can simply select to look for a player who you love. So let's go ahead and look for Mr. Farnworth. There he comes up over here. When you click on the individual player, you're going to get a variety of info and insights into their season, as well as former seasons. So you can go ahead and take a look at the history of their SuperCoach life. But a couple of things, I guess, to note is the very basics of the way SuperCoach is played. So if you were to head up to the Help tab in the top right-hand side, you would note that we've got a whole range of info. Even if we head actually back to the main menu of Help and Guide, I think the first place to start is to understand, well, what is it that scores points in SuperCoach? You'll be able to get the full list here, including the things that earn points as well as the things where points are deducted. So these are pretty important to be aware of. Now, any other deeper detail you want to dig into, understanding how they accumulate your best 17 score week after week, then all of that is found in the help menu. But once you're actually in here and getting started, then it will look a little bit more like the 2026 team picker. For those of you who are brand new, you would come to a page like this, and if I were willing to sacrifice and clear my team for now, you would get to start from the get-go at selecting your players out of 26. Now, important to note, extremely important to note, there of course is a salary cap, just like for every NRL team. And what this means is you cannot afford to select the best players of every position. You're going to need to balance your team between those that we would refer to as a gun, somebody pretty high priced but pretty well known for earning a lot of SuperCoach points. Then you're going to have to balance that with some of what we would call our cheapies, our lower price players who may not be earning all the SuperCoach points you want to start off with. But we're going to dig deeper into team selection on a future video. But for now, hopefully this at least gets you set up, gets you able to start exploring what it looks like to begin playing NRL SuperCoach for 2026. Now, please note, if you're not already signed up to SuperCoach Plus, you won't yet be able to access the team picker if you are watching this video before the end of January 26. So keep an eye out for that if you're sticking with the SuperCoach base level. But if you are already signed up to Gold, then please get picking. Let me know in the comments if you've already locked a few players in, and please stay tuned as well for future episodes on how we might guide you into your 2026 NRL SuperCoach season. Well guys, hopefully that is enough to get you started. Of course, there is lots more to unpack in terms of who do we actually select and why. So please be sure to subscribe to my channel for further guidance and further support in how to set up your 2026 SuperCoach season well. Thanks so much for tuning in. If this has been any help to you, please go ahead and press that like button, and we'll see you next time with the SuperCoach Sister. Catch ya.